The simulation chamber was designed to be lethal. Oxygen levels would drop by 40% over 12 hours. Temperature would fluctuate wildly. Food and water were scarce. The candidates, 12 alien warriors from 8 different species, were dropped into the sealed environment with minimal equipment. The survival test had a 60% failure rate. Instructor Kesrath observed from the control booth, her 3 eyes tracking each participant on the holographic display. All 12 were doing what was expected, rationing resources, building shelters, conserving energy. All except one. "Why is the human not moving?" her assistant, a young Thrall named Yixtor, asked. Kesrath zoomed in on the display. Private James Morrison, the human recruit, had found a relatively safe corner of the chamber and was sleeping. "Is he malfunctioning?" Yixtor wondered. "Humans malfunction differently," Kesrath muttered, making notes. "Observe." For the next 6 hours, Morrison slept while the other candidates grew increasingly anxious. A Vexi warrior was hyperventilating. A Krell soldier was using up resources wastefully in panic. A Threll operative was becoming dangerously dehydrated. Morrison slept. At the 8-hour mark, Kesrath was ready to wake him. This was clearly a failure. But then something unexpected happened. One of the candidates, a Vexi named Zextun, collapsed from exhaustion. His species required constant vigilance to maintain consciousness. Morrison's sleeping form didn't trigger the panic response that an alert competitor would have. The other candidates, seeing Morrison's calm rest, began to mirror his behavior. Some sat down. Others closed their eyes. By hour 10, half the chamber was resting. By hour 11, all candidates except one hypervigilant Krell were in some form of sleep or meditative state. When the simulation ended at the 12-hour mark, only 3 candidates had failed, all from exhaustion-induced medical episodes. The rest, including Morrison, emerged relatively unharmed. "Explain yourself," Kesrath demanded as Morrison stepped out of the chamber. "Ma'am, I was tired," James said simply. "You slept during a survival test." "Yes," James confirmed. "Because survival isn't about constant vigilance. It's about conservation. My species evolved on a world where energy expenditure had to be carefully managed. We sleep when we're tired because wasting energy on alertness when there's no immediate threat is wasteful." Kesrath's antennae twitched. But what if there had been a threat? Was there? James asked calmly. "No, but..." "Then my instinct was correct," James said. "I assessed the environment. I determined there were no active threats. I identified that exhaustion would be more dangerous than rest. So I slept. And look," he gestured to the other candidates, "everyone else did better because I did. My calm demonstrated that panic was unnecessary. That reduced stress on their systems. That's survival strategy." Yixtor made a chirping sound of amazement. "The human used psychological tactics without intention." "I used common sense," James corrected. "Your species measures survival by how alert you stay. Humans measure it by how efficiently we use resources, including mental energy. We're not built for constant readiness. We're built for recovery and adaptation." Kesrath reviewed the data. Objectively, Morrison had the best vitals at the end of the test. His heart rate was steady. His oxygen consumption was minimal. His stress hormones were remarkably low. "You pass," she announced. As James left, Yixtor asked, "How is that fair?" "He barely participated." "He participated perfectly," Kesrath said, watching the human walk away. "He understood something your species, something most species, never learn. Survival isn't about doing the most. It's about doing the right thing at the right time." That human slept because sleeping was the right choice. And somehow, that choice made everyone around him stronger. Later, when Morrison was debriefed by his human commanding officer, Captain Sarah Chen laughed. You napped during a survival test? I was tired, James shrugged. And honestly? I figured if the Academy wanted me dead, they'd just say so. If they wanted me to survive, then resting was the smart move. Chen shook her head. You know what the aliens don't understand? That's not just survival instinct. That's trust. You trusted the Academy wouldn't kill you unfairly. You trusted your own body's signals. You trusted that simplicity works better than panic. James smiled. Humans are weird that way. We're not weird, Chen said. We're just honest about how survival actually works.